So here is a video of me solving a Rubik's Cube blindfolded in 17 seconds. But as you just saw, or will see, I didn't start solving until about 7 to 8 seconds in, because I had to memorize it first. So in reality, the actual solving time in this case was under 10 seconds. That's like really fast. So fast that it's faster than how long it takes me to solve the cube with my eyes open. Hence why you sometimes see me solve it blindfolded inside of a bit, which is very strange, but that's for another video. Unfortunately, there's a barrier to entry in the form of having to memorize all of these 800 plus algorithms, which people tend to find a bit daunting and tedious for obvious reasons. So here are some tips, a bunch of them I don't think a lot of people know or are underused, that will help you to learn these freestyle algorithms as quickly as possible. So firstly, learn to use Anki. So essentially every day what you do is input a certain amount of algs and their inverses into this flashcard program. So for instance, I might learn the case for BP first. So I chuck the letter pair BP on the front side, copy and paste the respective alg on the back side, and then do the same for the inverse. So chuck PB in and then swap it around manually, like the alg on the back side, and then type that in too. Every day I'd go through the algs. So if I saw the case for BP, what I'd do is do the case for BP, obviously. If I see that I have the inverse case on the cube, then I'd do the inverse case, so I'd do PB. And then if you solve the cube afterwards, then that means you've done it correctly. After you get comfortable, you don't really need to check the cube, but it's nice to have a solved cube at the end to show that you've done both the original and the inverse correctly. If you just repeat this process just 4 more times, do this every day while reviewing past cards, you can essentially learn all the 3-style algs in under 3 months or faster if you want to learn more every day, which is pretty doable. Secondly, start simple. Start by learning, so for instance, for the corners, the 8 movers first, and then gradually work your way up to the more complicated algorithms, like the 9 movers and 10 movers. If you do things this way, because there are a lot of similarities between a lot of the algorithms, like in the case of corners, a lot of them have the RUD movesets. You'll notice that when you learn the more complicated algorithms, you might know some parts of it already from the simpler algs. Maybe there are more setup moves, maybe one move's different here and there, also inverses obviously, and it will just help you build up your knowledge a bit more efficiently and faster. And thirdly, don't start implementing 3-style until you know all of the algs for a certain piece type. So this one might cause some varying opinions to rise, but I've seen a lot of people learn stuff like Orozco and Eco sort of as an intermediate sort of method between MTOP and 3-style, but I don't think it's worthwhile. But you can potentially make such methods slightly faster than MTOP, but the difference is quite minimal, and you might as well spend that time improving your memo, which is always going to be a thing no matter what. And in terms of getting used to how commutators and stuff work, you can just do that through learning 3-style and just starting with the more basic algorithms first, as I mentioned in the second tip. And also learning 3-style is a pretty big task in itself. So I feel like if you're in a 3-style learning phase, your goal should be primarily focused on getting them into your brain as quickly as possible and not focusing as much on other stuff. And I feel like chucking in some other methods in the mix will make things a bit too confusing and won't add as much benefit as learning how to associate algs with prior knowledge and using Anki as well, which I mentioned in tip 1. And next, value speed over perfectionism. So I think especially in blind solving, it's very easy to get caught up with trying to find the perfect alg or the perfect image for the certain letter pair. But I feel like if you're spending like more than a few seconds trying to come up with, for example, the alg you want to learn and all of that, it's like a bit of a waste of time. Like the difference in speed between the top algs out there are like very minimal. And if you're aiming for something like sub 30, which seems to be the case for a lot of you guys learning 3-style, I don't think it's really going to be like a deal breaker. And you can always change it later once you've learnt 3-style already, so that at that stage you actually have a feel of what you prefer and what you don't, which it's hard to grasp if you're just starting out. So my recommendation is to stick to like just a single list, 2 max, and just focus on getting algs from there pretty much. And lastly, learn good finger tricks from the start. Technically, it's not directly related to the video topic, but it's one of those things that you should learn earlier on, like learning the pronunciation of a foreign language before you start learning the words and stuff. Because that's something that's going to be harder to change later on, unlike the algorithms, which I mentioned before. Because the finger tricks are what makes up the moves that make up the algorithm. So it's important to establish that well earlier on. But yeah, I hope you found that useful. Be sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below what you found the most useful tip to be and what you're going to implement. And also, once again, I'm open to helping you implement these tips yourself. So be sure to book a one-on-one call with me up there or there. I can't remember where it was exactly. And yeah, let me just finish this. There we go. Hope you enjoyed otherwise, and see you later. Bye.